I'm happy to have seen you. Why not, I have seen you? Perfect infinitive in American English. Have you ever heard sentences like, he seems to have forgotten? I'd like to have met her. They claim to have solved the problem. Yes, all three sentences refer to past events or states via the perfect infinitive, but with present relevance. But what does with present relevance mean? With present relevance means the past event still affects or interests us right now, like a past action echoing into the present moment through judgment, evidence, or consequences. Past, action finished, for example, forgot, met, solved. Present relevance, speaker connects it to today, for example, matters for decisions, feelings, verification. Perfect infinitive creates this live link. So, grammatically, these sentences are not present perfect. They're using the perfect infinitive, to have plus past participle. What is the perfect infinitive? The perfect infinitive is to have plus past participle. To have done, to have seen, to have met. It shows an action that happened before the main verb or feeling in the sentence. Example, I'm happy to have met you, equals, the meeting happened first, past, then I'm happy now, present. This structure, to have plus past participle, is used after perception/thinking verbs, seems to have forgotten. Thinking, I consider him to have lied. Lie done, judge now. Perception, it seems to have broken. Machine failed earlier, evidence now. It also occurs in the perfect passive form, to have been eaten, and continuous, to have been eating. Perfect passive, perception. The cake seems to have been eaten. Gone now, clues like crumbs. Thinking. Experts believe the error to have been fixed. Fixed before, confirm today. Perfect continuous. To have been plus minus ing. Perception. She appears to have been crying. Red eyes now, past action inferred. What is the key idea of perfect infinitive? It's an infinitive, not a tense. It shows an action before another time, often before the time of the main verb. Very short contrast. Simple infinitive, to do, no time information. I'm happy to meet you, now/future. Perfect infinitive, to have done, suggests earlier in time. I'm happy to have met you. The meeting happened before this moment of speaking. The perfect infinitive in American English typically fall into two categories. 1. Perception verbs, seem, appear, look, sound, feel, happen, turn out. It seems to have rained. Observed, past result now. 2. Thinking/judging verbs. Consider, believe, think, know, expect, suppose, find. Hiring that consultant, I consider it to have been a mistake. Evaluated past. Let's compare it seems to have rained to it seems it rained. Context for seems to have rained. You're outside, notice wet grass/puddles after a clear sky. Friend asks, why is everything wet? You reply, it seems to have rained while we slept. Look at those puddles. Perfect infinitive equals past rain to present wet proof. Time bridge active. Context for seems it rained. No evidence needed, just past report. You heard from news/radio earlier. Colleague asks about yesterday's weather. It seems it rained around noon per the forecast. Simple past equals neutral fact from memory. No now connection. Now let's compare I consider it to have been a mistake to I think it was a mistake hiring that consultant. Simple past. I think it was a mistake hiring that consultant marks events as finished and isolated in the past timeline without linking them to the present, making it neutral because it doesn't imply ongoing impact, relevance, or judgment from now. The event, for example, hiring consultant, ended years ago, core action complete. The perfect infinitive, consider it to have been, acts like a time bridge. It takes a finished past event and applies today's judgment to it, implying the past still matters now through lessons, consequences, or reevaluation. This tense shows judgment, not just history. The event is still active in the speaker's mind now. For example, that mistake to have been wrong implies guides my decisions today. Here are more scenarios. Scenario 1. Showing a friend your new cheap headphones that broke after a week. I consider buying those to have been a total waste. Purchase done last month, but regret hits today. Might return them. Scenario 2. Monday morning. Boss asks why client didn't get weekend update. Sentence. I consider not sending it Friday to have been my mistake. Why perfect? Past choice, Friday, creates today's problem, angry client. You're making a judgment now. The perfect infinitive, to have plus past participle, views a completed past action through a present lens, making a judgment now about something finished earlier, creating relevance today via lessons, evidence, or consequences. It works like a mini past inside an infinitive. Think of it as past perfect, had done, for infinitives. Main verb, present, seems, consider, equals now, viewpoint. Perfect infinitive equals mini past action completed before that now. Like past perfect, had done, but non-finite, cannot stand alone as the main verb. Compare the following two sentences. She had finished before we arrived. She seems to have finished before we arrived. Past perfect, she had finished, reports a known sequence of two past events. You and team arrive at her desk at 3 p.m. Work's done, laptop closed, coffee cold. She finished, 2 p.m., then we arrived, 3 p.m. The whole thing happened in the past and finished. It's factual history. You saw her finish. Direct witness. Case closed. Perfect infinitive, she seems to have finished, infers that sequence from present clues. You arrive late, see clues now, empty desk, closed laptop. You infer, guess logically, she must have finished. Clues today make past action matter now. For example, no need to review her work. Why infer? No eyewitness, you're judging from evidence, not reporting history. Let's compare the following sentences. As an advanced C1 learner, you need to understand the subtle differences between these structures, not in meaning, but in style, formality, and emphasis. He seems to have forgotten my name. He seemed that he forgot my name. It seemed that he forgot my name. He seemed to have forgotten my name. He seems to have forgotten my name. When to use this? You use this sentence when you're making an observation right now about something that happened earlier. You're at a party tonight. You see your old colleague, John. When he talks to you, he keeps calling you Mike, but your name is actually David. Seems equals your observation/impression now at the party. To have forgotten equals the forgetting happened before this moment. You're connecting these two moments. Past action, arrow present realization. He seemed that he forgot my name. Why this is wrong. In English, you cannot say he seemed that, she seems that, they seemed that. This is a grammatical error. The verb seem is not normally followed by that plus a clause. Instead, it's followed either by an infinitive or an adjective, depending on the meaning. He seemed to have forgotten my name. This is the natural and correct form. It seemed that he had forgotten my name, also correct, but note the structure change. We add it as the subject. The rule. When your subject is a person, he, she, I, they, you must use seem/seemed plus to plus verb, not that. Correct alternatives. Option 1. Use to instead of that. He seemed to forget my name. Or, he seemed to have forgotten my name. Option 2. Change subject to it. It seemed that he forgot my name. It seemed that he forgot my name. Past plus that clause with simple past. You use this sentence when you're talking about a past impression or observation you had. You're describing what things looked like or felt like back then. Example situation. Last week, you were at a party. You saw your old colleague, John. When he talked to you, he kept calling you Mike, but your name is actually David. Today, you're telling your friend about it. At the party last week, it seemed that he forgot my name. He kept calling me Mike. The time frame, seemed, past, equals your impression at that moment in the past. Forgot, past, equals the action that was happening at that same time or around that time. Both things are in the past. They happened together or around the same time. He seemed to have forgotten my name. Past plus perfect infinitive. When to use this? You use this sentence when you're talking about a past observation about something that happened even earlier. This structure emphasizes that the forgetting happened before you noticed it. Example situation. Last week, you were at a party. You saw your old colleague, John. When he talked to you, he kept calling you Mike, but your name is actually David. Today, you're telling your friend about it. At the party last week, John seemed to have forgotten my name. He kept calling me Mike. The two time frames. Seemed, past, equals your observation/impression back then to have forgotten, perfect infinitive, equals the forgetting happened before that observation. Comparison. It seemed that he forgot my name versus he seemed to have forgotten my name. It seemed that he forgot my name and mean the same thing but differ in style. The first is conversational and natural in everyday speech. It's what you'd say when chatting with friends. The second is more formal and sophisticated, better for writing, reports, or professional contexts. The perfect infinitive also emphasizes the sequence. He forgot first, then you noticed. Both are correct. Just match the formality to your situation. A. After verbs like seem, appear, claim, expect, pretend, believe, be said, be thought, be known. Examples. He seems to have lost his keys. They appear to have misunderstood the instructions. The company is said to have increased salaries. B. After verbs expressing regret, preference, or unreal past. Typical verbs: would like, would love, would prefer, meant, hoped, intended, expected. Examples. I would like to have studied medicine, but I didn't. She had hoped to have finished by Friday, but she didn't finish by Friday. Using to have done often shows something unreal or not achieved in the past, especially with would like, would love, would prefer. Mini contrast. I'd like to meet her, future/possible. I'd like to have met her, past/impossible now. With passive, perfect passive infinitive to have been plus past participle. Examples. The documents seem to have been lost. He is believed to have been promoted last year. Same time idea. Something happened earlier, but we talk about it in a more formal, distant way, often in news, reports, academic writing. Structurally, it's the same idea. Modal plus have plus past participle equals a kind of perfect infinitive after a modal. Could have, would have, should have, might have, must have. He must have left early. So we should have started earlier. They might have missed the bus. Connect to main idea. Again, it's talking about an earlier completed action relative to now or another past point. The difference is, with modals there is no to, just modal plus have done. The company is believed to have misreported its earnings last quarter. You'd use this in a business/news context when there's suspicion about a company's financial reports, but nothing officially proving yet. Situation. Context. You're talking to a colleague about a company that's suddenly under investigation. Have you seen the news about X Corp? The company is believed to have misreported its earnings last quarter, so the regulators are looking into it. How to say the same sentence in different ways. Analysts suspect the company misreported its earnings last quarter. Neutral/formal. It looks like they didn't report their earnings honestly last quarter. Neutral, spoken. The minister is said to have met with industry leaders behind closed doors. The perfect infinitive, to have met, is used because this is reported speech about a past event with present relevance. The meeting happened earlier, but rumors/judgment circulate now. Why perfect infinitive here passive? Is said equals people claim/rumor, thinking verb category. Past completion, meeting finished before now, have met. Present tie, story breaks today, relevant now. For example, scandal implications. Journalism style, American English headlines love it for unconfirmed past actions judged fresh. For example, is said to have done. The suspect is thought to have left the country earlier this week. Perfect infinitive, to have left, fits here for inferred past action with ongoing present impact. Police/experts guess the suspect fled earlier, relevant to today's manhunt. Why perfect infinitive passive? Is thought equals experts/police believe, thinking verb. Past completion, leaving finished, earlier this week. Present relevance, inference now, no confirmation, affects current search. News trope, crime reports use it for unverified past escapes judged fresh. The city is reported to have improved air quality over the past decade. Perfect infinitive, to have improved, expresses completed past progress reported now, with current relevance to today's air quality discussion. Why perfect infinitive passive? Is reported equals studies/media say, thinking verb structure. Past completion, improvement over decade, finished phase. Present tie, report today to now matters, for example, policy debate. News pattern, environmental stories use it for verified past changes judged fresh. The airline claims to have reduced carbon emissions by 30%. Perfect infinitive, to have reduced, conveys the airline's claim of completed past achievement, presented now for current debate, or PR. Why perfect infinitive claims equals thinking verb, they assert/judge. Past completion, reduction done over time, before now. Present relevance, announcement today to now scrutiny, for example, green cred. Corp press style, boasts verified past wins with fresh impact. The team appears to have done everything possible to prevent the error. Perfect infinitive, to have done, indicates the team's completed past efforts, inferred now despite the error, with present judgment on their diligence. Why perfect infinitive perception appears, observes evidence of past action. Past completion, efforts finished before error. Present relevance, assessment today, for example, no blame, they tried. Sports/business tone, defends past work judged fresh. By Q4, we hope to have launched the new platform globally. Perfect infinitive, to have launched, projects future completion relative to Q4. The launch will be finished by then, viewed from now as a goal. Why perfect infinitive, future context? Hope equals modal-like verb expecting future result. Past before future. By Q4, future point, launch complete, have launched. Present planning, said today to now, ambition for later milestone. Business lingo, Roadmaps use it for done by deadline. The board is understood to have approved the merger in principle. Perfect infinitive, to have approved, signals the board's past decision, understood/reported, now with immediate business impact. Why perfect infinitive passive is understood equals it's believed/insiders say, thinking verb. Past completion, approval done, meeting ended. Present relevance, leak today to now stock buzz/next steps. Corp media stable, for unconfirmed past board moves.